IIT, I think you should take it up because you have to experience it, to really say how different it is. And I think the students will be able to probably explain you better for that. So we will take some more questions. There is a question on how is biochemical engineering and biotechnology at IIT Delhi different from biosciences and bioengineering offered at other colleges? So, Pratibha, would you like to take this?
Sure, ma'am. So our syllabus is a little different. We are more oriented towards the biochemical engineering, of course, is common because we have a lot of overlap with chemical courses, but we also place a primary focus on the technological aspects. For example, we have a course regarding the latest microscopy techniques or gene editing instruments and uh, fields related to that. Biosciences and biomedical, sometimes people get that confused. That is more to do with the medical part of the discipline. Biotechnology is more on the designing and the engineering aspects, and where we can have an interdisciplinary approach with other departments as well. I hope that's clear.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Pratibha, for that. So now there is a question on material science and engineering, and Professor Anup Krishnan has joined us. He's also a faculty at civil engineering, and as I said, this actually gives you an example of Professor Shampa is a polymer chemist, and Professor Krishnan is a civil engineer, and both of them into a materials department tells you how diverse this program is and how interesting it will be to be part of this program. So for Professor Krishnan and Shampa, there is a specific question about material science and engineering. There are actually two questions, and both of them are related to placements. So one is, what are the opportunities in government sector after completing BTech in metallurgy and material science and engineering? So although our program, the BTech program, is a BTech in material science and engineering, not metallurgy, but just to clarify. Then the second question is actually kind of related. They're saying that they have learned that companies do not prefer women in branches like metallurgy, materials, and mining engineering. Is that true? I don't think so, but I think I will let Professor Krishnan and Professor Shampa. So maybe Professor Krishnan, you would like to talk about this and add anything about the material science. Shampa has already spoken about the program. So.
Great, thank you, Neetu. So I'm really glad to see students here and your interest in material science and engineering. And like Professor Neetu Singh already said, I want to clarify that our program is not metallurgy and materials engineering; it's materials engineering. So our focus is broadly on all types of materials and specifically in cutting edge tools and how these can be used to advance material knowledge. So that's the reason why we have a lot of emphasis on different types of materials like metals, ceramics, alloys, high entropy alloys, polymers, soft materials, computational tools like atomistic simulations, and also machine learning and artificial intelligence. In fact, machine learning and artificial intelligence is really kind of changing the way we look at materials. And I would really that's some of the projects that's going on all around the world include the Materials Genome Initiative, wherein people are really trying to use computational tool to design new materials. So the BTech program is designed keeping in mind all these cutting edge areas. And regarding job opportunities, so if you're a material scientist, you have job opportunities across different fields. So you can go to government sectors. Of course, there are several government companies. You can go to public sectors. You have companies like Maruti, Mercedes. We have companies like Tata Steel. And in fact, in Delhi itself, there are quite a few companies. Havells has already expressed interest. And we have several active collaboration with these companies. Hindalco, of course, Aditya Birla's Hindalco, and Vedanta mining. So, I mean, if you look at those kind of opportunities, there are several opportunities, whether it's government sector or public sector. And if you're again looking in terms of your research opportunities, as you know, you can contribute. I mean, the progress of a country really depends on coming up with new materials. So in fact, sectors like defense, aerospace really counts on having novel materials for accelerated development of missiles and other technologies, and even supersonic flights. So we have some active collaborations going on with DRDO, Bureau of Research in Nuclear Science, Baba Atomic Research Center basically, and also several aerospace companies. So I would say that this is one discipline that is general neutral. Nobody cares whether you are a male or a female. They just care how good a material scientist you are, and you have very good opportunities and equal opportunities in material science, whether you are interested in government sector, public sector, or in research, is what I would say. So yeah, I guess that answers the question, Neetu. So if there is anything
Yes,
else I
thank
can.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think there are a lot of questions regarding placements, and one thing again, Professor Mukhopadhyay, Shampa, and Anup, you all can add to this, or the student representatives would be even better. So I think all our through our placements, we have everything is open for everyone. Everyone can apply for. We don't differentiate that you're a mechanicals only. You can apply. Of course, the requirements of the companies could be very different, which is also they also look for your CGPAs, so it's not just your branch, but they also look for different some requirements are there for your CGPAs as well. So but I think in my understanding, everything is open. Institute does not have any difference. Am I right? Or
Yeah, I
Yes, ma'am.
just like to add that there are only few companies who restrict only for computer engineering branch or electrical engineering branch, but I think they are out of the scope of this discussion, because while we are in this ambit, we are discussing about these departments, so there is no restriction. Kashish, if you want to add something.
Yes, sir. So, like, there are various companies, right from analytics to consulting branch, to consulting profiles, to different business development profiles, and even some even the software engineering profiles that open for all the branches. So, yes, there is no restriction from the company side. Like, if for most of the companies, there isn't any restriction of the branches. It's just there are various placement tests of the companies which the person has to clear. So it absolutely depends on the students how they perform in the test, and so the branch won't matter. So as Neetu ma'am had already said that like the courses are quite flexible. So if they want to take up some computer science courses or some management courses to prepare for some tests, the students can always do that.
right. So that being said, about the branches, with respect to women, absolutely there is no discrimination. So that's another question which I had. So just wanted to tell you that I don't think after coming to IIT there is any thoughts. We don't even think about these things. That a student cannot apply to a particular job, to a company because they are from a particular specific branch, or they are a female. The only reasons would be you've not cleared the test, you do not have the required CGPA or the other requirements.
If
Yeah,
I can
in
just
that
add,
line, huh?
sorry, Professor Saha, please, Sampa, please
No, no,
carry
no.
on.
You are saying you can complete, then I can say.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I just wanted to share the small video that we had created for the undergraduate program. I have shared it in the chat, and in that, people can actually see some of the comments by people from industry with whom we have closely interacting nowadays. So we have Havels, and we have even doctors from teams with whom we are working on developing some biomedical devices, etc. So you can have a quick look at the video, and that should give you an overview of what we are aiming for and what are the facilities that we are looking forward to provide to the undergraduate students here.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Anup. That would be very helpful. Shampa, would you like to add? You were saying something.
Actually, I wanted to say that as far as female students concerned, as Professor Neetu just said, so yes, there is absolutely no distinction, especially for material science. This is not a metallurgical or mining engineering program. So there is a misconception that you are thinking how a female student can take up a job in mining sectors or in the metallurgical or mining sectors. So that is absolutely wrong concept here. In this material science engineering department, we will be training students for different kinds of materials. It's metals, polymers, ceramics, electronic materials, very different kinds of material. So there is no restrictions for female students to opt for one over another. Okay, so there will not be any restriction. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. And there are many opportunities for female students, and we also, as female, are happily working in this area. So absolutely no problem for female students.
Thank you,
That's
Shanta.
it.
So
Yes.
now I see another question, and this is for Samrat. This is for textile technology, and the question is not about placements now. It's about future prospects for higher studies with textile technology, because I think uh, a few people are concerned about textile may not be very widely there might not be many schools and colleges offering higher studies in textile technology. So, Samrat, do you have anything to say
Yeah,
about
yeah. So let me say you that yeah, it is correct that you don't have as many colleges like mechanical engineering or civil engineering, but still you have options. For example, we ourselves run a master's and PhD course which is very reputed, and other than that, you have Cornell and UC Davis and NC State universities who run textile. Some of them have changed their names to materials, but they still have a very strong textiles program. So it is there. Also in Europe, there are a few universities which would be having the textile uh, department for higher studies, and in Hong Kong and Singapore. So you have, and in Japan. So you have would be, if I remember, it would be around 20 good universities you can choose from if you really want to pursue textile as a future discipline in your career.
In fact, again, adding a little bit to what Samrat just said, that actually gives you an advantage because not many universities offer, and everyone knows that IIT Delhi has the best textile program. It's not only because we are the only, but also because our program is really, really good. So the students are quite sought after, and also that many students from textile end up doing, as I said, it's an interdisciplinary area. So they end up into biomedical engineering. For example, biomedical textile is a big field, and you want people to understand the textile technology really well. So people end up into those areas. People end up into a lot of other biology labs and other places. So it doesn't restrict you because it's just a bachelor's degree that you get, and then you can do your master's in any PhD in any department.
Very true, because I know many of the students who are in Cornell and UC Davis, they're doing so well, and they have either gone to materials or to biomaterials related to textiles, and they are doing extremely well. So that's what.
Right. So my next question is for Anoop and Champa for the engineering. There was a question which was about they would like to understand the difference between the program that IIT Delhi is offering versus I think there are programs in Kharagpur and IIT Bombay. So of course I don't think comparing the programs would be a good idea because every program has its unique character. But would you like to highlight the curriculum of material science and engineering, and because it's a new program, one thing I can think of is you all would have thought about what is the current need and what the students need to be trained for the next 20 years, right? So probably it's a brand new program, so the curriculum is brand new, and the content will be quite new and exciting. So do you want to talk about that?
Yes, Professor Krishnan. No. So, yeah, then I can say something. So, basically, if you look at the IIT Kharagpur program, that is basically a metallurgical and material science program. And now you are talking about that IIT Bombay also, that is also metallurgical and material science program. So our program is relatively new and quite different from compared to their program. So our program, as I already mentioned, this is not only focusing on metallurgical part and metallurgical and mining part. This is comprising of metals, polymers, ceramics, functional materials, electronic materials, very different kinds of material which are of cutting edge materials. Okay, so it is all the emerging materials we will be discussing in this course. So that's why it is very different than those IIT Kharagpur and IIT Bombay's whatever program they are running. Okay, so I think that's all I can say.
Thank you, Champa. Anup, would you like to add something to this? Anup,
Yeah,
you are
I think he's not there.
okay. Okay. So we move on to the next question. This is not brand specific. This is a question for everyone. I think that this is after completing a dual degree, can we pursue MS abroad? And I think the answer is, of course, yes. But
Yes,
you would like to answer to this?
yes, of course you can do MS abroad.
In fact, after completing your dual degree, you can directly go for your PhD. Even after a BTech, you can
Yeah,
go to PhD. So you need
even
not.
after BTech, yes, even after doing BTech, you just straightway write GRE and go to United States, can do the PhD, or any other country. You can do PhD right after BTech. You will be eligible for to do that. You don't
Sorry,
have to
I'm
wait for
really sorry.
world.
I had some connectivity
Yeah.
issues, so I was not able to.
Oh, okay. No
Anup,
problem.
yeah. Anup, would you like to did you hear the question, Anup? Did you hear the
Can you just
question?
repeat the? Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, there was a question, a lot of people are getting confused with, I think other IITs have had a metallurgy and materials program. So they
Right.
wanted the comparison between programs at IIT Kharagpur and IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi. So I
Right.
and Champa basically said that it's a different program. It's into sciences and engineering and not a metallurgy program. So would you like to add? And also maybe you want to talk about the curriculum. What are the courses that you all have planned, and what would be the structure like, the first year, second year, third year? Would you like to go over that?
Yeah, sure, sure. So we can do that. But first of all, I heard a question about BTech and direct PhD. Was there a
Yes,
question?
yes. Yeah, yeah. So then after that, we moved on to another question, which was not specific to material science, but it was about after completing a dual degree, can we
Okay.
pursue MS abroad? So we said that, of course, you can pursue MS, but you can also go for a PhD program. And in case you're a BTech also, even if you don't have a dual degree, you can directly apply for a PhD program. So those options are
That's
all
right.
there.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I just want to give you an example for this. For example, I have not done a master's myself. I'm Anup Krishnan, so I have not done a master's. I did my BTech, and after that, I directly did my PhD, and then I joined. I had a short stint as a postdoc in the US, and then I joined as a faculty member. So if
Right,
you are
and that's why
interested
Anup
in,
is one of our youngest faculty, probably.
yeah, maybe I was, maybe not anymore. But thank you. Yeah, so the thing I want to emphasize is that if you're very clear that your interest is in pursuing something novel, something new, and really something innovative, then you should really strive to go towards research, because in terms of research, you have complete freedom on what you want to do. Nobody is going to restrain you to do particular thing, and you can basically explore what you want to do and collaborate all over the world, and then come up with new technologies, etc. Now coming back to the first question, so I hope that clears it. You can directly after your BTech do PhD or whatever you want. If you want to do MS abroad, that's also a good option. But in India now we have a lot of good opportunity, like for example the Prime Minister's Research Fellowship. I don't know how many of you know about it. PMRF program is one of the most prestigious program in DMSC. IIT Delhi also we have a few PMRF scholars. So the salary that you get for PhD is 75,000, which is a very good salary considering you will be placed on campus and you are going to do a PhD program. In addition, you will get an amount of something close to the tune of 1 to 2 lakhs per year for to support your foreign travels and collaborative activities and research activities. So if you are interested in research, PMRF is one of the best schemes that you should look for. And if you are interested in something like that, you should start working towards it. Once you join the BTech, maybe in the second year itself, you can identify some research areas of your interest and start working with people and see what your area is and explore things further. And regarding how the program at IIT Delhi is different with respect to the other programs. So I don't really want to go through the one by one each of the courses at IIT Delhi. That's already available in the brochure. So you have a book called Courses of Study. You can get it from IIT Delhi. I'll share the link in the chat. So you can just go through this and then see what are the courses. But as I mentioned earlier, I really want to emphasize that this is not a metallurgy program, because we are looking at an overall materials program. And materials, when you talk about materials, it includes metallurgy, of course. That's historically one of the most important branches of material science. And but nowadays there are a lot of new materials, for example 2D materials, graphene and so on and so forth. You have new energy materials, and you need materials for polymeric materials, biomedical materials, and you for example biomedical implants. There are a lot of projects which are happening on biomedical implants. So historically, if you look at programs at IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, etc., they have been traditionally a metallurgy oriented program, because at that point of time what the country needed was more people in metallurgy, because we were getting more industrialized, etc. But right now, what the country needs is way beyond that. We need people with background in ceramic engineering. Why? Because we need high temperature materials. For example, if you want to do space and high speed ballistic missiles, etc., we want materials that can survive in something like 3000 degrees Celsius or 2600 degrees Celsius. So high temperature materials cannot be really, you cannot really have metallic high temperature materials. It's really ceramics that we need to look for. And similarly, when you're talking about soft materials, you have to go towards polymeric materials. And all this really requires, the design space for these materials is like millions. So how do you narrow this down? Artificial intelligence and machine learning is the answer to that question. So our program broadly is designed keeping in mind industry, keeping in mind requirements of the country, keeping in mind the requirements of today's world, and combining different cutting edge tools in a BTech program. So that's how the DMSc BTech program IIT Delhi is going to be different from the BTech programs that's already running, which were framed from a different perspective in mind. But we are looking towards future, and the BTech program is framed with that in mind. So that's all from my side.
Thank you, Anup. Thank you, Anup. That was perfect. So there was another question, which is basically we also have Kashish Ghosh, student representative. Kashish, would you like to add, because we've not heard from you? So would you like to add something to the discussions we've had? Anything that you think can be useful for everyone?
I guess like all the professors have covered everything about IIT Delhi, and even right from the placements to what the courses consist of and the future prospects. So yeah, that.
Thank you, Kashish.
Another one
Yeah,
question I saw like about
I,
the.
I have one point. Can I just say?
Sure,
Hello.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So there was a question from Shubha. Can I pursue MS in USA in CSE after BTech Textile? So Shubha, you can. Generally, what people do is they often take a minor in computer science while pursuing a bachelor's degree in textile. I had one student who did a bachelor's project with me. So we had a project which had an interface of computer science and textile. So it was computer aided fabric defect detection. And so she had an overlap, and she did very strongly many courses in computer science to get a minor degree. She's a very good student, of course, but only thing is that you have to work harder, because you would be competing with students with fully computer science background, so that makes your life slightly difficult. But if you're hardworking, you can do that. So it's possible. Yeah. So
Okay,
Yes, I
thank
would
you.
like to add one thing here. So someone asked that if we can, what about the job opportunities for people who are pursuing textile with coding? So the companies that earlier Samrat sir talked about, which do not open for text, like those are core coding companies. One can always contact the placement cell, and if they are confident enough that they can crack their test, so the companies do provide an opportunity to give their test. So that will again depend on the test. If you can qualify the test, then you can apply for those companies also.
Okay, so we'll take the next question, which is about, and this again, we are getting this question quite a lot about ratio of girls to boys, particularly in academic programs like material science or textile engineering. I think someone there. By the way, please do not look at cutoffs of last year. What choices people filled last year may not be true this year. So please fill your own choices. Don't base anything on last year. But it looks like someone said that they might be getting textile and they would like to know about the girls boys ratio. So I think I would like to highlight, and this we have had said this many times in our previous sessions as well in the morning. Because of the supernumerary seats that we've had now, every department and program will have about 20% representation of women, females, and textile, I think, have had fortunate enough to get a lot of females, biotechnology as well, and I'm sure material science will also get a lot of female candidates. So I think that is not a worry that much. Please don't worry about not having colleagues or not having people to other females to interact with. That's not true for IT Delhi campus. At least we have, I won't say very high numbers, but we have a healthy number, and I think we are moving, we are increasing. So, and we have a lot of PhD students who are females. We have a lot of master students who are female. So that's not a concern. I don't think that should be something that you should worry about. Anyone would like to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree with Neetu. In my 1 decade of teaching, textiles has been one department where the ratio has been very healthy, and you will find a lot of friends in the department.
So the next question is, there was something about which branch from textile can you change to? Uh, they're talking about branch change, and also there is a lot of confusion about branch change. I think this again was discussed in the morning, but at least for this year I think branch change is there. Of course later on it's a Senate decision, so if the Senate decides not to, that will be a different story, but at least for this year I think there is very much a branch change is possible. I think 100 students changed their branches this year itself. So please don't get confused about that. And your branch change depends on your CGPA after your first year. So the students can add to it. But from textile, which branch can you change to? I think all the branches are open, right, Samrat?
There is nothing like what branch you can opt from textile. So the same rule apply for any department. Okay. So textile is just one of the departments in the IIT system. So
Right,
any
because
any
the first year, everyone.
what
Yeah,
applies
yeah,
for IIT applies for the textile department. So please,
right.
this is not, I think, okay. But as it comes to you, Kashish, you may add. So if you, as Dr. Neetu said, if your CGPA is good, your options are open.
Yeah, because the first year is common for everyone. So that is
Yeah,
why, this concept of textile branch or any other branch doesn't matter. Of course, you have to compete with everyone. The CS person is also your classmate. So you have to compete with that person as well. And if the CGPA of those people, if you have people higher and they would like to shift, then it becomes difficult. So these are the only considerations, right? Kashish
correct.
and Pratibha.
Yes, yes, ma'am. It's just about courses in the first year, which are very common courses. Like they do not have any link to the core branches. So it's like a general course in every branch. So yes, everyone will have to perform in those courses, and it's just on the basis of the CGPA cutoff.
Okay, so I think Kimaya is trying to ask a question about the material science and engineering branch, and she's saying that since this is the first one, what would be the, I don't know what is the next part of it, but probably what would be the scope? Is it what she's trying to ask? Um, can one? Okay, the next question is, yeah. So Kimaya replied that yes, that's what she would like to know. Where do you all see the students going with this first batch? Anoop and Shampa.
Yeah, so this is the first time we are starting the BTech program at Material Science and Engineering. So it's very difficult really to say where the students are going to go. So maybe if you are joining, then you can answer that question 4 years down the line. But I can tell you that there will not be any lack of opportunities. So the choice will be always yours. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to government sector? Do you want to go to public sector, private sector? Do you want to go to research? Do you want to start a startup? it's your choice. I can tell you about this after 4 years. But Delhi being the capital city, I can assure you that the opportunities for material scientists in Delhi are humongous. We have AIMS right next door. Professor Neetu Singh is a associated faculty of AIMS. She is also a faculty of AIMS, and we have she can tell us more about the active collaborations between the material science department and AIMS. And there are so many other national labs also in Delhi. So Delhi is a hub for almost all the industrial and government sectors. So job opportunity wise, you will never have an issue. But where are we going to go? That I guess you should tell us, where are we going to go?
Yeah, absolutely, Anup. I mean, materials is required in every field, right? Let's say the computing people, computer scientists would like to join Google. Now, Google, of course, has jobs for computer scientists, but it will also have probably jobs for material scientists because the products that you're using from Google, of course, apart from the app, they all use.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think Google will be looking out for such people. Intel, for example, Intel hires material scientists. They probably hired the most. So they are looking for really new materials for making those chips, which gets into all the computers and the phones, right? So material scientists are required everywhere. It doesn't matter. The mechanical engineering might have a better option, you think, for Ford, but I'm sure Ford is looking for a material scientist as well because the car has to be from a new material, right? So these are kind of things. I think material scientists will have a lot of scope, and they will be again sought after people. Because the course is different, it is not just metallurgy heavy. It involves softer materials as well. So this is actually looking at the future.
Yeah, so companies like Reliance, IPCL, IOCL, all oil companies, all petrochemical companies, that will be all open for you. So
Okay, so
it
now
is.
let's move to another question. There is
I just
another
would like to add a
question.
small anecdote here, Neetu,
Yes,
if
yes,
you
Anup. Sure, sure.
Yeah, so Professor Neetu Singh is absolutely right, and I would like to give you an example of one of my close friends, Kim Kubuk, who is right now working in Google Brain after his PhD in material science. So he's a collaborator of mine, and he did his PhD in using artificial intelligence to understand the material behavior. And specifically, he worked on glassy materials and how fracture occurs in materials and identifying all this using artificial intelligence. So now what Google and such companies are looking for are not people just with a background in artificial intelligence or machine learning. They want people who can apply it to innovative problems. And this comes from domain knowledge. So once you are a material scientist with a knowledge in AI or ML, then the opportunities for you are humongous. And all these companies such as Google Brain, Amazon, and there is something called, there are quite a few deep learning companies also. Many of them are looking forward to people with strong domain knowledge like material science or other disciplines with a knowledge in AI and ML. So if you work hard, if you develop, if you use your 4 years at IIT Delhi well, then you can be really exploring all these cutting edge fields. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Anup. Thank you. So the next question, which is very interesting is, can you please tell which one is better again? This is again, I don't think anyone could answer this. Civil engineering or biotechnology for girls? First of all, I don't think we can say that anything is better because civil engineering is equally good for girls if you're interested in it. And of course, biotechnology is equally good. You just have to have interest in it. But Anup or Pratibha, would you like to address this civil engineering and biotechnology comparison?
Neetu, I would like to address it. My answer is civil engineering is better. You ask me why?
Oh,
Because I'm a
biased.
civil engineer.
Biased, yes, yes.
No.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, I completely agree with your point that see, it all depends on your interest. Please understand that no branch is either tailored for or not for girls. Okay, so please don't think of any branch associated with a gender. If you are interested in civil engineering, you have a lot of opportunity in civil engineering. If you are interested in biotechnology, you have a lot of opportunity in biotechnology. Don't think that civil engineering means it's just field work. It's not field work. You can very much sit in an office and do work. or you can, if you're interested in fieldwork, you can go and do that. But there are a lot of opportunities, like for example, civil itself, you can have environmental, water resource, transportation, geotechnical, structural. You can work in air pollution being in civil engineering. You can work in water pollution. You can work in any design of tunnels, design of multi-story buildings. So that's what civil engineering is all about. So don't think whether civil engineering or biotechnology is better for girls or even for boys. It all depends on what your interest is. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier we used to have these kind of concepts because resources were very difficult to get and things were not very comfortable. Right now, even on the field, even if the civil engineers are supposed to go on the field, they it's not like girls don't get a place to stay, or I think it's same for boys and girls. I mean, both of them will have equal kind of a experience. So I don't think I think that thing has we've changed, we've evolved, and everything is very comfortable now. So I don't think this is true that a particular branch is. So even in the labs, people have this idea of, okay, civil hoga to maybe bricks honge, ye honge. But I think for boys also, right? I mean, it's quite dangerous for the boys also to be between all those things. So I think we have to come out of this from our head itself. We have to be just explore, because if we are interested in building something which is civil is a different concept, right? So if you're interested in civil engineering, go for it. I don't think you'll find any problem because of your gender. For biotechnology, again, it's a very, I don't think we can compare civil with bio. The kind of opportunities you will have after civil versus kind of opportunities you will have with bio is very different. And of course, you can have opportunities with interface of these two as well. So I think there is absolutely no end to what you could do with any branch, any BTech from any IIT. So yeah, if you're interested in a biotechnology kind of a program, you're inspired by the Nobel Prize that the two ladies won this year, go for it. Or if you're inspired by all these tall buildings and you think you want to build something better, or some dams, or you want to change the metro system, go for civil. So I think these are kind of things that you have to ask yourself. So there is
Yes,
another
ma'am.
question. Yeah, there is another question. How will ITD
Like,
and yeah, who's
just
this?
like to, yeah, ma'am, I just like to add on to what you said.
Pratibha, sure, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, I think most of it was covered. Yes, it purely depends on your interest whether you want to go for a biotechnology or a civil. But if you want more clarity, I think someone also has asked a question about an overview, particularly on biotech branch in terms of curriculum, syllabus, jobs, placements, and opportunities. I mentioned this earlier, but I'll just throw some more details in the curriculum. Like the speakers have previously mentioned, first year everyone has common courses. In the second year, you have the basic introductory courses and you have simultaneous labs as well, so that you will get exposure on hands-on experience. And therefore, this will help you in terms of opportunities for foreign internships as well. Our students have gone to reputed colleges all over the world, in Australia, in the US, Harvard, in Europe as well. Then comes the syllabus. Like I said, it's actually pretty flexible. Like all the other speakers have also mentioned, almost you could say 50% core and 50% is your choice electives. So you will have courses from various branches of biotechnology. For example, you have enzyme engineering, you will have wastewater management treatment, you will have genomics and recombinant DNA technology courses like that as well, and some chemical courses like I mentioned, fluid and heat systems. And the last thing someone had asked about, what about the non-tech prospective placement opportunities in biotech? I think this also has been cleared multiple times. Most companies are open for all the branches. If you have the requisite skills and you're able to pass the entrance exams or the other criteria which the companies have, I think you will be eligible for any job you set your mind to, be it a management trainee profile or business development or product manager, or even top consulting companies like Bain or Boston Consulting Group open up for biotechnology as well. And they've hired students every year.
Thank you, Pratibha. In fact, just to add to that, many prestigious scholarships that our Indian government and a lot of other foreign government give, for example, Nehru Fulbright Fellowship, the Hargobind Khurana Fellowship, which allows you to pursue research in top universities abroad like Harvard, MIT, Oxford and other places, go to our biotech students, right, Pratibha? We've had a lot of students who have gotten these fellowships in the past, and of course, it's a very, very competitive fellowship. All the students in IITs and other people are applying for it, but our biotech students have been able to successfully secure those. So
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
yeah. Okay, so there is another question for this is for Anoop and Shampa, and this is a very interesting question, which is Priya Jamkar has asked, how is the new branch like material science at IIT Delhi? Okay, I'm going to skip that one because we've already discussed this. There's another one. Priya Jamkar has another question, which is how will IITD ensure that we do not lose on the benefits of alumni in this new material science program? I will let Anoop and Shampa say something about the alumni base. But before that, please remember that this department was not, it's a new program, but the department has faculty from previous centers and units, academic units. So they have alumni base already. So it's not that there is no alumni base for this particular subject topic. It's just that because a lot of commonality was seen among various faculty, and we thought that this would help. Shampa or Anoop, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, sure. I can add a few comments quickly, and then I can hand over to Professor Sampa Saha to add more. So I completely agree with Professor Neetu Singh on this. That you see, this is a new program, but the people in this department and the idea behind this department has already been existing in IIT Delhi. So historically, in 1979, IIT Delhi had a Center for Material Science. In 1993, it was converted to a Center for Polymer Science, and then Applied Mechanics Department of IIT Delhi had a separate division on materials. And then finally, everything came together, and we have now the new Department of Material Science and Engineering in 2018. 2019, we started the MTech program, and 2020, we are starting the BTech program. So in terms of alumni, of course, we have had a lot of alumni in both Applied Mechanics Materials program and Polymer Science program from Center for Polymer Science. In fact, the Center for Polymer Science is a very well respected center and a unique, one of its kind center in IIT in India itself. And similarly, the Applied Mechanics Materials has a lot of reputation. In fact, one of the senior professors from Center for Material Science, Professor Raghavan, is also a very, very well-known, renowned material scientist who has written several textbooks also in material science. So alumni base, of course, we have a very strong alumni base. We have very strong interaction with alumni, and I'm sure they will be, supporting the materials program. Sampa, you would like to add anything to this?
Yeah, absolutely, Professor Anup. Whatever you said, I absolutely agree with you. We do have a strong alumni base, as correctly pointed out by Professor Krishnan, that this department is, yes, as a department, it is new, but it has a long history. It's like a 20 years old center that has been converted to department, and then we are starting this BTech program only from this year. But we do have a strong postgraduate alumni base, and our students are everywhere in India as well as in abroad, and we are every year we try to meet them. We do have regular alumni meet every year, and now we will be having even more. Okay, if that answer your questions.
Thank you, Shampa. Yeah, that's perfect. So we're getting this question quite a lot from Akshita, Shreya. Everyone is asking about placements of IIT Delhi textile engineering, and we have discussed this in the beginning quite a lot. In fact, we started with the placements, and as I mentioned at that time, there is absolutely there is no limitation on which companies you can apply for, or which who can sit into the placements. It is not dependent on your branch. It is totally dependent on your other criteria like your CGPA and your other points that you have in your CV. You can have minors to, in case you're interested in a computer kind of a company, you can have minors in that. So, I mean, these are things that I think it's too early for you to worry about. Don't worry about placements and other things right now. There are mechanisms by which you'll be able to get placed wherever you wish after a few years, of course, depending on your performance at IT. So with that, I think there is one question which I'm getting from Saloni and other people. Again, I don't understand this question. Which branches have scope for sustainability? I think all the branches have scope for sustainability, but I don't understand what the person is, what Saloni is trying to ask. Maybe she's meaning that which has long-term, future or something like that.
Yeah, if I can, Nitu, can I say
Yeah,
something about this?
please, Samrat, please.
Yeah. So as Dr. Neetu is saying that there can be two interpretation of this question. So if Saloni is there, you can maybe rewrite. If you say that sustainability as a discipline or sustainability in research, then I think all these disciplines, whatever we are discussing right now, we are trying to incorporate sustainability as a very core component. In textile, we have a lot of research going on in the field of sustainability, and I'm sure material science and bio would also be having very strong this thing. So I think as a student, this is the interpretation what I made. But if you have anything else, you can ask.
There was another question that can someone switch from BS to BTech? I don't think we have any BS programs, do we?
We don't have any BS program.
We don't have any BS programs. You can switch from BTech to a dual degree. I don't think there is, again, there was another question where people are asking, can you switch from a 5-year dual degree program to a BTech program? I don't think that is allowed. Although if you complete your credits, you will get your BTech degree. But I think shifting
Yeah,
from MTech to a BTech program may not be allowed. But BTech to
yeah.
MTech is definitely
The,
allowed.
the other way is allowed rather, but you
Yes.
cannot convert into a this thing to a BTech degree, right?
Right. So if you don't do your MTech, you will just get a BTech degree, but you would have to, you'll probably get a fail or something like that. So don't think of those options, I think, right now. So I think any other questions that I'm missing out? We've done this. What about the scope, which is brand change happening? We've done that. A student, yeah, I just received a few more questions. What is the difference between production and industrial engineering and mechanical engineering? Well, this is not the session for that. I think there was another session where we had mechanical engineers, but if anyone would like to address this question for Tanya, what is the difference between production and industrial and mechanical? So we will not, Tanya, because we don't have faculty from mechanical engineering department. We will not be able to tell you the minor details as the difference in the curriculum. But in general, the courses would be slightly different. You might have a lot of courses in production and industrial which will be related to. Yeah, Anup, would you like to add something?
No, no, not really. No, I will not.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
not
So the
confirm it, but
next
I would
question
just
is
suggest people to just, for such questions, I would suggest them to go to courses of study and have a look at the program. You will see
absolutely.
that actually, for production and mechanical engineering, most of the courses are similar, but once you go to your third year, you will see that some of the courses are different because one is more industry oriented and the
Right.
focus is slightly different. But I'll
Right.
not get into the details because I'm not the expert in it.
Yeah, that's what I would say the same thing. Thanks, Anup. Okay, so there is one more question, which is what is the opportunities for engineering and computation mechanics? So again, this is not the forum for that. There was another session which was happening at 3, and we had experts from that department who would have taken these questions, Lakshya. So this is for another. Next question is from Kimaya. What are non-core opportunities for textile? Samrat,
This has already been addressed. So
many times to
I
address this.
request I request all of you to join in time because we have already repeated this twice or thrice. So it's the
Yes.
same as any other discipline in IIT Delhi. So it's equally bright in textile. You can apply for any non-core companies. You'd be equally equipped to do so. And the
Yeah.
next question also let me answer. Should I prefer chemical at other IITs over textile? Again, you are asking this because you have joined late, Ria. The answer is like if your preference is more towards chemical, you have certain understanding of chemical engineering and you have a this thing for it. Go for chemical engineering. Textile is a different branch, and of course it has its own merits, but it's very unfair to compare two different disciplines over the IIT system.
Yeah, thank you, Samrat. I think we have time for one last question, and I think we are done with all of the questions. So the next question is, are we allowed to opt for dual major? Now, this is an interesting question. Technically, we don't have a dual major program, but let's assume in a theoretical situation where the student is very bright. Of course, it's going to be almost impossible for them to do this. After you have enrolled into an MTech program and you complete your MTech requirements, and you also you have a very high CGPA, so you opt for another MTech with an advanced standing. I think these kind of things can happen, but trust me, the curriculum is so tight that it will be very difficult for you to get another major. Because the 5 years for an MTech program dual degree is designed in such a way that you can have your BTech and a major and a MTech in only one discipline. It will be very difficult for you to complete 53 credits, another 53 credits in just 1 year. And we don't allow people to take more. There's a limitation to number of credits you can take every semester as well. You cannot repeat courses. So it's going to be very, very difficult. But it could be possible if someone, we don't have any programs which are dual major. How many minor courses can one opt for? Again, for all these detailed curriculum related things, please look at our courses of study. Now remember, every course, every program is different. So a department of material science and engineering BTech will be very different from maybe a mechanical engineering BTech. The number of credit requirements could be same, but the core requirements, the project requirements, the design requirement, credit requirements. There are a lot of other things. So that will be different, and there'll be minor differences. But so the number of minor courses and all that is going to be dependent on that. After this, you can take any number of minor courses. Nobody is limiting you to the maximum numbers that you can take. So once you complete your credit requirement, so you've come to IIT Delhi for a BTech or a dual degree or an MTech. Once you complete your credit requirement for that particular degree, you are free to take any additional courses. Nobody is stopping you from taking it. You can take courses on audit. So all these options are available. Can we take interdisciplinary dual degree? So we do not have this term, and we've been hearing this term since morning. IDD is what people are calling it, Jyotika. So we do not have this term in IIT Delhi. We don't call it as interdisciplinary dual degree. We just call them as dual degrees or an MTech degree. So you can, so for example, consider you join the BTech program in material science and engineering, and biomedical engineering has an MTech program. So you can actually do your BTech from here and join the MTech at IIT Delhi in biomedical engineering. And this will be an interdisciplinary degree if that's what you're trying to ask. So it will be an interdisciplinary dual degree. Same thing with the material science, you can join MTech in maybe some other department as well. So yeah, so I think that should have answered your question. Anyone would like to add to this? Samrat, Anoop, anything you want to add?
No, I think that is perfect. Whatever you've said is perfect.
Okay, I think then we are pretty much, it's 5:30, and I think we do not have many other questions. We have had these questions since morning, and I'm seeing a lot of repetition also. So the students have been sitting through all the sessions, and thank you so much. I would like to thank all the participants and especially our panelists who have been sitting with us for a lot of sessions. Anoop, thank you. Thank you, Sampa. Thank you, Samrat. Thank you, Pratibha. And thank you, Kashish. She's there. I don't see her right now. So thank you so much for spending your time with us. And I really appreciate that. And thank you all the candidates, and congratulations and good luck. Fill your choices with, whatever you want to do and not what your previous year students wanted to do. Okay. So keep
Yeah,
that in.
let me just add that every discipline is very strong and have a lot of strength in them. So it depends all on you, that how you come and perform in the department. So I mean, just don't have those kind of perceptions and don't go by hearsay, what people say. Take the word from us that every department is very strong in this IIT system.
Absolutely. And I think the whole point we are trying to make here is that it doesn't matter which branch you get. Your opportunity to get into IIT. So, I think you should be looking for that am I getting this opportunity? It doesn't matter, whether you're getting even if you do humanities at IIT, I think it's going to give you a different experience. So it's not about the branch. It's more about you should be grabbing the opportunity to join an IIT, and it can be any IIT, not just IIT Delhi. It can be any IIT because I think it'll be very, very different. You're part of a different community where it's not about it's about we're exposed to a lot of research. We do a lot of we our facilities are slightly better. We have our labs are we have equipped our labs with latest which is happening cutting edge facilities, equipments and things like that, which will expose you to a different kind of environment. Our the topics that we're choosing for research is very, very new. And again, this is only because of the resources that we have. We've been very fortunate to have wonderful resources in IITs, and I think we want students to explore that. We want students to get exposed to it. So please choose IITs, and don't worry about your branches too much. That is too early to worry about it. Of course, you have to listen to what you want to. Some people are really interested in mathematics, let's say, or biotechnology. They should go for that. Anyways, good luck everyone, and we're going to end the meeting here. Thank you so much for connecting with us, and we look forward to welcoming many of you on campus, and probably many of you will become part of these sessions after a few years. I remember Pratibha as a first year student. Now she's in a senior class, year. So I hope many of you come and join IIT Delhi and become part of us. Thank you so much for connecting. Thank you, Anoop. Thank you, Shampa. Thank you, Samrat. Thank you, Pratibha. Thank you, Kashish.
Thank you, Neetu. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Neetu.
ma'am.
Thanks,
Bye.
Neetu.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
All the best.
Everyone, bye.